So now what happens next, and get more reaction to these bombshell allegations? Let's bring in Harvard Law Professor Emeritus Alan Dershowitz, the author of the book Get Trump, The Threat to Civil Liberties, Due Process, and Our Constitutional Rule of Law, and a Newsmax contributor. Professor Dershowitz, always great to have you. Quite a week here. The whistleblowers testifying. Now this FBI and classified document is out for everyone to see. So if the FBI did not investigate this, what do you think happens now? Do we see more bank records subpoenaed, possibly even the president's?
Well, the Attorney General made a disastrous error by assigning the investigation of this case to the sitting U.S. attorney in Delaware, who he claims was appointed by Trump, but was actually appointed by the two Democratic senators. His jurisdiction apparently was limited to investigating matters only in Delaware. That's absurd. This is a case with international ramifications. We know that there were efforts to investigate issues in Los Angeles, in the District of Columbia, and the judge who has been assigned to either accept or reject the guilty plea of Hunter Biden must reject that plea. He must say that we need further investigation. Was David Weiss's investigation restricted to Delaware? If so, there was no investigation, and we can't accept this plea.
So that's
if it wasn't restricted to, yeah.
Hey, no, that's set for next week. So there's a wrinkle in this. But how do you investigate the investigators? Like you said, if Attorney General Merrick Garland made a disastrous mistake and then possibly the FBI didn't follow up on these leads from a confidential human source, where does now the accountability fall to get some real answers?
Well, I think that the Republicans should provide the administration with a list of acceptable special prosecutors, people who are beyond reproach, former judges, people who are above any kind of suspicion, and give them the full authority to investigate everything related to the Bidens that occurred in Ukraine, that occurred in China, that occurred in the United States. The American public is not going to be satisfied with these partial investigations in which material comes out drip by drip, whistleblowers, we don't know whether they're telling the truth or not. I'm a professor. I've been doing this for 60 years, and I have no idea what the truth is today related to the Bidens. The allegations are serious. The denials are serious. And if I can't figure out what is going on, you think that the average American who didn't go to law school, who doesn't have this kind of experience, today has any idea how to judge the Biden family? Remember, this election, a year from now, a little over a year from now, will be an election as to who's worse. Is Donald Trump a worse criminal or the Bidens worse criminals? That's what the election is going to be about. It's terrible that that's what the election is going to be about. We should be talking about the economy and foreign policy and civil rights. But we have to get to the bottom of it, and we're not.
Yeah, and on the point of the election, there's two other questions and two things I want to get to. First, the new date that was set by Judge Eileen Cannon in the other case that's ongoing for May 20th, 2024. You know, some are saying that she's taking the middle road, a compromise between what the prosecutors wanted, what the defense wants, but obviously it falls right in the middle of the race for 2024. So there's that real quick. And then I want to get your thoughts. So there's some breaking news coming out, reports about possible racketeering charges stemming from the investigation that's going on in Georgia, having to do with allegations of election interference there. I don't know if you've heard about that. I want to get your thoughts about that. And then about the date being pushed to 2024.
Well, I think there's a lot of pressure on Judge Cannon from prosecutors that if you don't rule, at least in a compromised way, we're going to move for your recusal because you are a Republican, you were appointed by Trump. I think she's operating under a microscope, and she's obviously going to try to compromise. The date is a terrible date. It's right in the middle of, just before the conventions, in the middle of the election. You're stopping a presidential candidate on one side from campaigning for, who knows, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, who knows how long the trial will actually occur. Then there'll be other indictments. That's very wrong for the American public. The American public has the right to decide who's going to be the next president without constraints on the campaigning of either party. If the special prosecutor were to indict or suggest wrongdoing on the part of the Bidens, it would be the same thing. I'm not here taking sides as to who's right or who's wrong. I'm taking the side of the Constitution and the American public that they have a right to have an election about the issues, not about these other things. As far as racketeering is concerned, those are the worst, most elastic statutes. Every civil libertarian for years has been against the use of racketeering statutes. Racketeering statutes were designed for the mafia. They weren't designed for political campaigns.
Well, clearly, when your name is Donald Trump, there seems to be some possible statute stretching, as
Anything
we saw
goes.
in New York as well. Professor Dershowitz, wish we had more time, but really appreciate that insight and analysis today on the breaking news and also reaction to what is happening with this unclassified document Grassley put out to everybody. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you.